May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be free from harm. May all beings love life. May all beings awaken. I pray that you and yours are safe and comfortable, freed from economic hardship, and able to get out and do whatever it is you want within the limitations of the universal precept of do as little harm as possible. I'm DC Puba of Cuke Audio and Cuke Archives, preserving the legacy of Shinya Suzuki and those whose paths crossed his, and anything else that comes to mind. And on Thursdays, I try to put up something about living here in Bali, the Life in Bali series, and that's the anything else that comes to mind. My iPhone is making noise. All right, I put it on silent. So, let's see. Something happened this morning was interesting. Ingrid, who's the manager of the Colonial House nearby, wanted to talk to me. So I went over there with Bandita, who loves to go in there. It's just a minute from here. Nice place, too. And one reason I'd say the main reason Bondi likes it, it's got a big pond with a lot of big, carp in it, colorful carp and turtles. And she just could stare at that all day long and run back and forth. When she first saw it, after a while she jumped in, but, she's a little like a pomegranate type dog. And, she could stay up, but she didn't swim well. And she sort of freaked out. She couldn't figure out how to get out. There's a couple of places where she could have gotten out. I would even put her right in front of them, and she'd just go over to the side and desperately try to get up the side. She couldn't get up. It was weird. But anyway, she hadn't jumped in since then, but I don't leave her alone there with it. So anyway, Ingrid wanted to talk to me about a tree because my son Kelly is an arborist and has been over there looking at their trees, talking to them about it. And it's a big, tall tree on the backside in a lot, a big, jungly lot. So she said she went to the Banjar and talked to the head of the Banjar. That's like the neighborhood association. Contacting the owner of the lot and seeing if they would pay to take the tree down. He's got a zillion trees in there, and it's leaning over a very nice building of theirs, wooden building. They have very nice buildings. And not a lot of them. They've just got, maybe they've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 rooms, 2 pools. Very nice place. Anyway, we went up and on the second floor of one of the back places and looked at it. Anyway, so she said she'd gotten hold of the head of the Banjar, and he said, well, he wouldn't talk to the person who owned it because they're Brahmin. I said, well, what's their name? She said, Ida Bagus. I said, well, all the men are called Ida Bagus. You've got to have something after that. She's from Java, so she doesn't necessarily know about the Bali stuff. But she didn't want to talk to him either, She was intimidated hearing that. She calls me sir, and she won't stop calling me sir because that's polite, and I'm older. So anyway, the head of the Banjar said they could just take it down themselves. And, that ended up costing him probably about a few $100s. I didn't want to spend the money, especially since they don't have any guests now. So I told him I'll show the pictures to Kelly and see if he thinks it's dangerous. But, he doesn't know tropical trees. And, there's a tree like it nearby that fell down. And you don't know if a tree's going to fall down or not. But it'd be fun to deal with him on it. And maybe an arborist from the university or something, or a professional arborist here would be good. But I thought I'd talk to Bali Bill, whose wife is Brahmin. Oh, no, she's not Brahmin. She's royalty. Right. I don't know. I think royalty can talk to Brahmins. I mean, really, a lot of people don't pay attention to that here. It's not as fixed as India. But anyway, I don't know. All right, so that happened. I was thinking, well, what do I do today with life in Bali? I told you that. That's one thing. But I thought, I went to a lot of poetry slams. I'm not doing that. Well, nobody's doing. They're virtual now. But I don't know if I'll do it again. I'm so involved with, the podcasts and working on books and stuff. But I thought I'd read a poem that I read at a poetry slam. Now, what happened is, and I might have already mentioned this in another life in Bali. I can't remember. When I was working on A Brief History of Tassajara, from Native American sweat lodge to Pioneering Zen Monastery, a Cuke Press book, I put a lot of time into it, and some other people did too. And I think I had just uploaded it onto Amazon's KDP Kindle Direct Publishing. And I'd been up like all night the night before, which I don't like to do, and I don't do very rarely. And I was just exhausted, but I also was free, and I got a message from Teeny, a doctor friend up north in Singaraja. I did a podcast with her. Just saying there's a poetry slam at Rumah Sanur. Well, Rumah Sanur is a 20-minute walk from here. So I thought, all right, I'll go up there. It's a cool place. A lot of young people go to it. So, it's got, Rumah Sanur has got a restaurant, it's got a bar, it's got a coffee shop, it's got upstairs, it's got co-working places. You can rent space in there to do work. When I was working on Zen is Right Here, more teaching stories and anecdotes of Shunryu Suzuki, coming out in July of 2021. It's, a book with like 125 vignettes or something. I had each vignette on a page, and I got 3 tables there. And I put them all and figured out not just the page number, but which ones to use and not to use. And that was costing me $3.50 a day to rent that private space. Well, I mean, other people, it was a bigger room. There were some other people in there, but mainly it was me. And anyway, Rumah Sanur is a cool place. I every once in a while I go up there and work for a while, get some tea, avoid the brownies. And so anyway, I walked over to Rumah Sanur, and there was about 60 people sitting there in chairs, and the poetry slam was about to get going. And I didn't care if it was all in Indonesian. I mean, it would be too hard for me to understand, I'm sure, but just being with people and sitting there and not, not working and do delirium would be cool. So I sat there and listened to them, and most of them were in English. And in the intermission, I went up and talked to the woman who seemed to be sort of managing it. There were a few people seemed to be sort of managing it. She seemed to be the main one. And the theme of the evening was lust. And I went up to her and said, "Hey, I wrote a song for my wife for her birthday, and it would definitely fit into the lust category, and I could just recite it like a poem." She said, "Sure." So they signed me up, and I came on, and I belted it out like James Brown. And I won the poetry slam. I got 35 out of 36 votes from the judges, who are chosen at random. Well, not at random. People raise their hands from the audience. I think what really got them was after I'd finished, I said, "For my beloved wife, Katrinka, on her 70th birthday." That got quite a reaction, because I think they were assuming I was thinking of someone younger or something, which happens a lot, of course, here and other places in Asia. And here it happens with older women and younger men, too, more than other places I've seen in Asia. Anyway, that was neat. Then I entered another. I don't know if you enter, you just go and read. I read a number of other poetry slams, but after that, it was all stuff about, almost all stuff about climate change, which, there's all these young people. I want to say, hey, wake up, come on. It's up to you now. Do something. One sad thing I noticed about climate change, I ask everybody in the Life in Bali podcasts about trash and about climate change. When I ask people about climate change, not only in the Life in Bali things, but just people in general, they talk about how they, they recycle all they can, and they'll walk instead of drive and this and that. But the problem is beyond that. Those things don't really matter. You can pollute and trash everything all you want and do other things that would help stop climate change. Now, I recycle fanatically, and I use as little energy as possible. We have a very small footprint, but climate change can only be dealt with now on a governmental and big business level, and everything that individuals do just isn't enough. So, look, I'm going to read the poem I presented at the next poetry slam. Now, just a little background. I did a thing called the World Suicide Club back when I was working for the Nuclear Freeze. The World Suicide Club, back then it was just nuclear weapons, the largest, most effective organization on Earth working toward global nuclear war and the elimination of all higher forms of life. It was a dark humor trip, and I put out a record, and I did a lot around it. And it got a lot of people's attention who weren't paying any attention to the peace, love, dove stuff. And we're all going to die, drop everything and get nuclear weapons frozen and all that. So this is an update on that. And it's called Welcome Good Members of the World Suicide Club. There's I already have a video of this on QAnnex.com, and it's on Cuke Audio on YouTube. Or it might be on David Rich Chadwick, my personal one on YouTube. Yeah, I think it is. But anyway, I'm just going to read it now. Welcome, good members of the World Suicide Club, the largest, most effective organization on Earth working toward the elimination of the human race. We're well on our way to reaching our goal and taking a lot of our neighbors with us. Here we are in the sixth great extinction, which has the distinction of coming on quickest and being the one we've done pretty much all by ourselves. We could focus on turning it around, but that's so much trouble and don't want to get in the way of progress toward our extinction. Already, half the plants, half the animals, hell, half the insects gone, like we're striving to be gone too. An asteroid from outer space could wipe us out. It's a long shot, but we're making sure not to do all that we easily could to prevent such a catastrophic impact. Nuclear war is no long shot. We're always right on the hair-trigger edge. And if it's between the U.S. and Russia, most likely by accident, good chance it's all over for higher forms of life. That's almost happened a number of times. And look who's sneaked up on us. That cute little simple carbon dioxide molecule with its methane sidekick, sleeping giants in the earth that can bring on fire and fury and stop the shit out of us if enough of them get out. Like on Venus, with its 470 Celsius surface. And that's not just because it's closer to the sun. It's hotter than Mercury. All kinds of scientists warning us, but they're so boring and don't want to change our lifestyle or the way the money's flowing. Gigantic old trees, stately soul of our neighborhood in Sanur got butchered. Just that tall, thick stump left standing. People said it'll grow back and then won't be threatening to drop those big branches. Driver Nyoman eyed its huge limbs in pieces. Alam Mara, he said. Nature's angry. In the 70s, Lovelock was writing about Gaia. The earth is one self-regulating being. 21 years ago, he published The Revenge of Gaia, then The Vanishing Face of Gaia, and 7 years ago, Rough Ride to the Future. Maybe good to prepare for that rough ride. Now, we can't get out of our membership in the World Suicide Club, but like 102-year-old James Lovelock, we can work from within to sabotage its heinous goal. Good luck, young'uns. Don't get mad. Don't get down in the dumps. Get smart. Wake up. Take a lead. This has been a Cuke Audio mini podcast. I'd say it's approaching a medium podcast. I'm DC Poobah of Cuke Audio and Cuke Archives, coming to you from sleepy Sanur with Doggy Bandita, Feline Cuchita, and dear lovely Katrinka, wishing you and yours and all of us a grand awakening.